When confidence has been shaken, there's often a point where you try to bring it back intentionally. You tell yourself to be more certain, to stop hesitating, to carry yourself differently. And sometimes, on the surface, you can do that. You can sound clearer, you can move faster, you can look more confident to other people. But internally, it can feel off. Not exactly wrong, just not fully real. For many people, this is the moment where confidence starts to feel performative, even when the behavior itself looks correct. That can be difficult to interpret, because the question underneath it is usually, if I'm doing what confidence is supposed to look like, why doesn't it feel like mine? Confidence is often treated like something you can generate on demand. But what gets disrupted in a destabilizing relationship is not just a feeling. It's your ability to rely on your own signal without needing constant confirmation. When that internal reference has been weakened, confidence can still be performed long before it feels true. So when you try to force it from the outside in, your system often registers the mismatch. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because the structure underneath it does not fully trust the expression yet. Confidence applied on top of instability will often feel artificial, even when it looks convincing. That is where many people become hard on themselves again, because they assume the discomfort means they are failing at confidence. It usually means something more specific. At that point, it's common to assume the answer is more repetition, more practice, more effort. But forcing confidence often recreates the very pattern that weakened it. Pressure, override, performance. Confidence does not become more solid through pressure. So when it feels fake, that does not mean you are getting it wrong. It may simply mean your system is accurately recognizing that external expression has moved ahead of internal stability. Sometimes the fakeness is not the problem. It is the signal. And that shift matters, because it changes confidence from something you are supposed to produce into something that begins to return as internal reference stabilizes. That process is usually quieter than people expect. It's less dramatic, less immediate, but it is more real. When that becomes clearer, the pressure to act confident often starts to soften. Not because confidence no longer matters, but because it no longer has to be performed. It becomes something that develops as internal authority becomes more stable, at its own pace. If confidence has started to feel a bit performative or disconnected from what actually feels true, I created a 30-day stabilization space to help you move through that without forcing anything. You can find it linked below when you're ready. And if you prefer to stay here and continue orienting at your own pace, that is completely valid. Confidence does not need to be forced to begin returning. We'll pause here.